Check, check, check. All right, let's connect. Oopsie.
Hello?
What's up, man?
What's up?
We're streaming live.
All right.
So don't say racist things like you usually do.
All right, I'll try to restrain myself.
All right, let's talk about, because I'm going to have questions about your screening you just went to, but let's do that on the podcast.
Okay, cool.
All right, I am going to... I'm going to click record in just a second. All right. 1,
2.
Okay. Welcome to the Watch and Talk. I'm Dylan Shuck.
And I'm Derek Miranda.
In this podcast, we're reviewing Atomic Blonde, as well as our top 5 standalone espionage films. You can hear all of our previous reviews on thewatchandtalk.com. Big shout out to our Patreon supporters. If you want to be a supporter of the show, you go to patreon.com/thewatchandtalk. Big shout out to our premium supporters, Shakita, June, Endless Mike, and Kaka. Also, a monthly shout out to Ashley, Diane, and Derek Pastoroni. So yeah, Derek, I have a question for you, man. I just need to know.
Okay, shoot.
Have you ever struggled with a social media presence?
Yeah, I think so.
You have? Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? I have a solution for you. And that's CoinCrack. All you have to do is go to watchandtalk.com/CoinCrack and boost your social media presence. And big shout out to Ninth Link. Ninth Link designers are ready to listen to your business needs and create websites, applications, and email campaigns. Check them out at thewatchandtalk.com/9thlink.
Ooh, nice.
How are you?
I'm good.
You just got back from a trip?
Hello?
Hi.
I don't know what happened.
My internet cut out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, I just asked you. You just went on a little bit of a trip.
Exactly, yeah. So went up to Irvine today to see Dunkirk again, but this time on the big 70mm IMAX.
And was it a game changer?
Oh my god. Well, first of all, it's just getting up there was a challenge because there was a lot of traffic. A lot of traffic today.
Is there any reason there's a lot of traffic today?
I mean, there was some traffic initially over near Del Mar where the racetrack is, so I expected that. But then even further up, like right kind of like between there all the way up through San Clemente, like going into Orange County. From San Diego County to Orange County, there was a lot of traffic. So we started to push it. I mean, the movie started at 2. We left San Diego around 11:45. We parked at the mall at 1:50, and then like we're running to the theater. I print out my tickets. We literally sit in our seats at 1:59. As soon as we sit down, the trailer started. Like, I can't believe we barely.
And just like the normal screening, it only showed 2 trailers in it on the normal 70mm.
No, we had 3 trailers this time. So it opened up with the Last Jedi trailer, and then it went to the Blade Runner trailer, and then the Justice League trailer. So the only difference was this time they added in the Last Jedi trailer as well.
Got it.
So yeah, I had to go up, had to see it again on the big IMAX. Oh my god, it was crazy.
Sounds like a life-changing experience.
It might be. It was pretty awesome. It was worth it. It was worth the traffic and all that. Although I gotta say, there was a couple people in the row behind us talking a little bit, and I've been to the movie. This is probably the 4th movie I've been to in a theater this week, and just about every movie I've been to, except for yesterday, there were people talking in the theater. When
I saw Valerian, there were some people at the beginning that were talking a little bit, and I thought it was going to be an issue. But nope, they didn't do it the whole time, so I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah, when we saw Valerian, there was a little talking. And Atomic Blonde, we had to ask some people to stop talking. Today,
Valerian,
Dunkirk.
It's hard not to talk during that movie.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, all right, well, let's talk about, that's something you watched this week. Something I want to talk about that I watched this week that I just checked out is the new Netflix series called Ozark.
Ooh.
It is with Jason Bateman and Lauren Linney, and it is, I mean, the comparisons to Breaking Bad are rampant for a reason. This feels like Breaking Bad in its later seasons.
Really?
Right off the bat. It feels like season 4 right now of Breaking Bad. It is so awesome right off the bat. I'm only 2 episodes in. I'm so blown away by it, and I'm gonna probably, as soon as I'm done with this, we're gonna watch Game of Thrones. Then I'm probably gonna start watching this more. But I did want to give a shout out on the podcast before I forget, because Ozark is a show everybody should be. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. It's brand new, but this is going to be the next big show.
Interesting.
In my opinion. So yeah, everybody check that out.
Okay, I've heard things, but I haven't seen any of it yet. But after what you just said, now I feel like I have to try it out.
Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Okay, nice.
Did you watch anything this week to report back, or are we going to get into our top 5?
Yeah, real quick. I went and saw A Ghost Story yesterday morning.
Don't tell me too much about that, because I'm going to see that this week.
Yeah, I won't say anything. I'm just saying it was really cool. It's not like most films out there right now. It's very unique. It's a well done film. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. All right, so we decided that we were going to go with standalone espionage movie, just like Atomic Blonde is. So it has to be one that's not a sequel. And we decided it can't be a sequel coming out this year, so we can't use Kingsman as an example. That's the only rule that I said. And then you were asking for the rules, and I was like, all right, everything else is up to your interpretation.
It's hard because it's very vague what is considered a spy film, what isn't. But the big thing was, franchise.
You can't do Hunt for October because that's Jack Ryan.
Exactly. So yeah, no Jack Ryan, no 007, no Jason Bourne, no Mission Impossible. Yep. I feel like it's good because first, I love all these film series, but I wanted to, it's too much to add those in there. Like just standalone, their own spy movies for our rankings.
I completely agree. So I have a couple honorable mentions I want to get off right off the bat that I actually originally had on the list, but they got bumped to the last minute. And that is 2015's Spy with Melissa McCarthy, which a lot of people slept on, thinking it was just some stupid Melissa McCarthy movie. But it is a really funny and it is a really standout comedy and one of the rare ones. Jason Statham's character in that movie is so hilarious.
He's really good in that.
Okay, so you agree with me on Spy?
I'll admit I don't love it as much as everybody else, but it's a very fun movie. It's very funny. I understand why people like it as much as they did.
I went in fully expecting it to be bad. I had no interest in watching it, and then people just recommended it so much. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. Why not? And I was pleasantly surprised. So yeah, that's Spy. The other one is Munich, Steven Spielberg's. I don't know if I can call it classic. Yeah, it has to be a classic by now, but spy film about somebody, a group of people from Israel seeking out Holocaust commanders and assassinating them. That's right. That's the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
That's the best way to...
Wait. No. Say it again. Sorry.
A group of people from Israel seeking out Nazi soldiers or commanders and assassinating them. No.
Incorrect.
Okay, what am I getting wrong on that?
They are not seeking out Nazis. They're seeking out members of the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, who carried out the attacks against the Israeli athletes at the Munich Olympic Games.
You're right. Okay. It's close, but I get my Nazis and my Palestinian terrorists mixed up sometimes.
It happens.
Any honorable mentions for you?
Yeah, I actually I have a lot of honorable mentions. So here's the thing: I love spy movies. I really love spy movies, and I go to make up my list yesterday, and I'm like, oh my god, I have so many. So I'm just gonna list off a bunch real quick, and then I'll talk about a couple, and then I'll get on my listing. But real quick, just some of the old Alfred Hitchcock from the 30s, The Lady Vanishes, The Man Who Knew Too Much, 39 Steps. I'll get to that. Burn After Reading by the Coen Brothers, Ronin, Nikita, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. from Guy Ritchie's The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was actually a fun little spy movie that I think I'd hated on. It was fun.
I put that on my honorable mentions, but I bumped it because I didn't want to have a crazy list of honorable mentions.
Sorry, I'm going through this really fast. I just have to give these movies a shout out. The Odessa File with John Voight from the 70s, where he's hunting down old Nazis. Steven Spielberg's Bridge of Spies. Joe Wright's Hannah. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. The Debt, A Most Wanted Man. Breach. Spartan.
The Debt was really good. I forgot.
The Debt was cool.
About that movie.
Spartan, which I was obsessed with in college, that not a lot of people have seen. David Mamet wrote and directed that with Val Kilmer. Very cool spy film. 3 Days of the Condor. That's a Robert Redford spy film from the 70s. The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch. Body of Lies. Ridley Scott's spy film with Leonardo DiCaprio I really enjoyed. Foreign Correspondent, another Hitchcock film from 1940, which is classic. And then my last honorable mention.
You think this is good content right now? Streaming up all these names.
Sorry.
Is insane.
I just want a lot of these are films that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, or forgot about. So I'm just trying to.
If you narrow in on some, maybe some people will check some of them out, but they're not going to be able to check these out.
So one more honorable mention, which came really close to making the list, but I edged it out, is The Lives of Others. If anybody's seen this, it won Best Foreign Film in 2006. It's a German film, and it also takes place in Berlin during the Cold War, towards kind of the late 1980s Berlin. It's about the Nazi, not the Nazi, the East German secret police, the Stasi. Mm-hmm. This is a beautiful film. I mean, it's not a quick-paced action spy film. This is a slow drama, but it is a beautifully written film, beautifully shot. It deserves Best Foreign Film. It won that Oscar for a reason. This is a great, tense spy thriller. Highly recommend.
Check it out.
So those are all my 20 honorable mentions. I apologize.
Let's start off with our number 5. My number 5 is True Lies. James Cameron's Arnold Schwarzenegger just has everything you want from a 90s action movie, all just rolled up into one. It's funny, almost all of my top 5 are 90s or 90s or 2000s. I don't have any old ones in here, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Zero Dark 30 by Catherine Bigelow. This is probably my favorite Catherine Bigelow film. I liked it better than Hurt Locker. It's
definitely my favorite Catherine Bigelow film.
Yeah, it's one of those films that it's a spy film that you're like, this is how real espionage works. This is real life spy stuff.
Right.
And they go through, and then, Jessica Chastain, I think, gave an Oscar-worthy performance in this film. I wanted her to win the Oscar for this, but I forgot who she lost out to, but she didn't win this one. But this is a great film. I
think she might have lost to Natalie Portman that year for The Black Swan.
No, Black Swan was earlier. Black Swan was 2010, I think.
Oh, you're right.
This was 2012.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyways, this is a great film. Just the way they go about how creative they're trying to be to find Bin Laden, and then the whole climax with SEAL Team 6 was just epic.
Yep.
So yeah,
Completely
that's
agree.
my number 5. Beautifully made film.
All right, my number 4 is Enemy of the State. Gene Hackman and Will Smith. That's when Will Smith was just starting to do serious action movies, as opposed to prior to that, he had done Men in Black and Independence
Day.
Right, and this was his first more serious movie, and it was a serious movie. People were brutally murdered in this movie. So yeah, that's. Oh, I thought of an honorable mention right now that I haven't seen in a long time. Mercury Rising. With Bruce Willis.
I remember that one.
I really love that movie. Mommy, Simon is Home.
I haven't seen that in 20 years.
Bruce Willis keeping a autistic kid who had unscrambled a secret government code in a crossword puzzle that they put out there to see if anybody could possibly solve it, and then thinking nobody could ever solve it, and then when somebody did, the government agents, including Alec Baldwin, go to try to kill the kid, and Bruce Willis is just trying to protect the kid the whole movie. Anyway.
Yeah, God, yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Number 4.
All right, my number 4 is Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
I had that on my honorable mentions, and I took it off too.
Oh, I love this. Another one of those kind of gritty, real, more of a spy drama versus action film.
Yep.
Just, another Cold War, MI6, the cast. You look at the cast of this. You got Gary Oldman and Toby Jones and Tom Hardy and everybody. This is a great film. Just tense, cool, just the Brits taking on the Soviets, and it's I love this movie.
Yeah.
Another one I really wanted Gary Oldman to win the Oscar for, but he lost out. He lost that one. But Gary Oldman does not get enough love. He's we'll see. This year he's got the Darkest Hour movie coming out where he's Winston Churchill. I think he might get it this year. We'll see. But
I think there's a good chance. He's a contender, that's for sure.
Definitely. But yeah, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, another slow burn spy thriller, but I highly recommend. Great film.
All right. Let us do number 3. And my number 3, I guess it's a tie for number 3, and that's both Manchurian Candidates. I really, really, really like the Denzel Washington one, but the Frank Sinatra one is really good as well. If I had to choose one, I'd probably choose the Denzel Washington one because just Denzel Washington is so freaking good in it, and so is Lee Driver. And I believe Meryl Streep is the evil mom in that one, but just the idea of it is fascinating, and so Manchurian Candidate.
Nice, yeah, the evil mom thing I love.
I went back and forth on whether or not it's a spy movie and decided it is.
Yeah, I would say so. I like that. Also, yeah, Liev Schreiber totally walked by him at Comic-Con the other day. I was like, I did a double take. I'm like, oh, that's Liev Schreiber. He was with his kids just walking for a Comic-Con. Very cool.
There's a ton of controversy about him letting his son wear
Harley Quinn. Yeah. That's why do people care?
Bored. People are so bored, man.
Seriously, it doesn't matter. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
I see dudes dressed up as Princess Leia. It's funny. It's actually, I really like that when I see like a guy dressed as Princess Leia and like his girlfriend or wife is dressed up as Han Solo. I love that. I would do that. I would be Leia. Like that's, I think, hilarious. So yeah, that controversy is ridiculous.
You strike me as a Leia, so that actually makes sense. Yeah.
What like Slave Leia or like
Slave
Empire Leia?
No,
like I like Empire Leia. I like Snow Bunny Leia.
No,
I like Empire Leia.
I think of you as Slave Leia, kind of like.
Yeah, okay.
It's just like what I envision you in my heart. I think. My heart
okay,
of hearts.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As you should.
Okay. Okay, so my number 3 is North by Northwest. Yeah, that's why when you mentioned it earlier, I'm like, oh, just wait, because I mean, this is my favorite Hitchcock film, first of all, and I love Alfred Hitchcock. I've seen most of his films by now. I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting there, but this is my favorite. They showed it at the theaters a couple months ago because they do their TCM Screen Classics, and I went and saw it on the big screen, and it is such a cool movie. It came out, 1959. People kind of call it the first James Bond movie. It was like a Bond movie before Bond movies came out. It was just so cool. Cary Grant is hilarious, but he's also still like suave, and it's great. It's a beautiful film. Some of you may not like older films, but this is like one of Hitchcock's greatest. So give it a chance.
I've actually never seen North by Northwest.
What?
Yeah, last time I said that on the podcast, somebody freaked out too. So it's on my list. I think I bought it on Vudu, so I think I own it. But yeah.
All right. I own it on Blu-ray.
I wish I saw it. I wish I saw it on the big screen when it was in.
It was cool. It was really cool to experience that. I love it. It holds up.
All right. My number 2, Zero Dark 30. For all the reasons you said, I don't need to go much more into it, but yeah, Zero Dark 30 is a really good. It is my favorite. I think I would even. I really didn't like Hurt Locker, and I was also upset about Hurt Locker beating Avatar. I'm one of the people that actually like Avatar for some reason. I don't understand why it had this big backlash against it, but I really wanted Avatar to win because that was such a mind-blowing experience seeing that movie for me in the theaters. Like I was so blown away seeing that, and I just felt like it was a huge change of the tide. Look, we're still watching movies in 3D because of that. I know everybody says 3D is dying, but movies keep coming out in it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. My number 2 is Argo. Ben Affleck's. I mean,
Argo,
Ben Affleck is. Argo, fuck yourself. Ben Affleck is made some really good movies. Director-wise, the only one I didn't love was Live by Night, the one that just came out last year. But like his first 3 films, I loved all of them. But Argo was amazing. I mean, that was
one of them was Gone Baby Gone, right?
Yeah, he did. Gone Baby Gone was his directorial debut, which I still remember the first time seeing that in the theater. Like I still remember. I went with a friend, and we were going that night to see the American Gangster, but American Gangster was sold out. So we're like, okay, like, oh,
Back when
Gone Baby
movies used to
Gone.
get sold out.
Yeah, so it was sold out, and I'm like, Gone Baby Gone. Like, I heard that looked cool too. So we see that, and we both walked out like, oh my god, that was amazing.
So good.
So
anybody
that
that
was
slept
great.
on Gone Baby Gone, it's a movie you should be checking out.
Definitely. And then he did The Town after that, which I also loved, and then Argo, which won Best Picture, deservedly so. I loved Argo. This was every aspect of this film. It's beautifully shot. The way they made it gave it that 70s look. The music, the acting, just how tense he made that airport scene. How tense was that? It was. I love Argo. That is like it's a perfect film. I would say that is a perfect film.
I think that would have made my honorable mentions. I think I wasn't thinking of it as a spy movie, but it is. That makes sense.
Okay.
And then my number one. You said on your honorable mentions it was one of the 50, and that's Ronin. Ronin with Robert De Niro and Jean Reno, and I love that movie. It should be on more people's lists, but yeah, Ronin.
Nice. At first I wasn't sure if I would even consider Ronin a spy. See, a lot of these I wasn't sure. I'm like, is Ronin a spy movie?
It's the definition of a spy movie.
Yeah, like Wikipedia listed a spy movie. I'm like, all right, that's fine then. So,
but
solid choice.
They're like spies. They're like spies. So I'd be like,
yeah.
I don't know why that one had you second guessing.
I don't know, because they were like all like ex spies. Just like I thought it was more of like a heist movie. Like they're just like ex spies stealing something. So I guess that was the way I looked at it. But no, I agree. It's a spy movie.
Cool.
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it.
Yeah, I'll allow it. You're welcome. My number one is actually one of your honorable mentions, Munich. I love Munich. I mean, big surprise. It's a Spielberg movie. I'm obsessed with Spielberg, but oh my god, like this is another one that I think people kind of forgot about.
I've forgotten about it. I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, it doesn't get it's funny. I think of that scene in Knocked Up at the beginning where they're talking about, like, dude, you know what I watched the other day? Munich. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, exactly. Like, it's one of those ones that get overlooked. And this is a film that I remember seeing in the theater, and I was just blown away. It was beautifully shot. It was complex. It was gritty. It was dark. You had early pre-James Bond Daniel Craig in it. Really great film. Just... that's the one I wanted to win Best Picture for in 2005. Because I remember that year, it was all about Brokeback Mountain, and then Crash won, and people were all pissed. And I'm like, dude, Munich should have won Best Picture that year.
Yeah. I
firmly believe that. I will fight that. Like, that's, I love Munich. Beginning to end, that's a cool spy movie.
All right. So those are our top 5 standalone espionage movies. Tell us what you think. Write us in thewatchandtalk@gmail.com or tweet us at watchandtalk and tell us what some of your favorite spy movies. Maybe we forgot some. So yeah. All right. Let's get into our review of Atomic Blonde. The plot summary of the film is an undercover MI6 agent is sent to Berlin during the Cold War to investigate the murder of a fellow agent and recover a missing list of double agents. I would say this is not really during the Cold War. I looked at this more as during the fall of the Berlin Wall, the end of the Cold War. But I guess that's just me.
I agree with you on that. I didn't realize it before seeing the movie, but then I'm like, okay, yeah.
All right, so we're going to give over our non-spoiler review of the film. We're going to give our basic thoughts and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to go give our grades and move to a spoiler section of it. So it's safe to listen to for now, as long as you watch the trailer and all that kind of stuff. So, Derek, why don't you give some of your basic thoughts of the movie and your letter grade?
Okay. So I remember first seeing the trailer for this, several months ago when it came out, and it right off the bat struck me just the way visually how this looks. It has this distinct look, and you've got Charlize Theron just kicking ass. Basically you get that female John Wick idea immediately, which is funny because it's John Wick had 2 directors. One of those directors directed Atomic Blonde, so totally makes sense. But, it's just, you come in, you've got Charlize Theron kicking ass, you've got this 80s soundtrack, and I'm like, wow, like, that looks awesome. I'm going to see that. And then, I go in, And yeah, you've got this 1980s Berlin trying to find out. They imply that this agent was killed, that she wasn't just a colleague of, she had intimate relations with this man. So you show how she has a personal interest in investigating the death of this other guy. And you come in and she's just kind of skirting around Berlin, just kicking the shit out of people.
I must say, I had no interest in seeing this movie. Like, this did not look
really.
The main reason that I thought it was weird is, one, the name is weird. It's not that weird to me now, but when you first hear it and you see the advertising campaign and the proximity to Fate of the Furious was also really weird. This came out the same year as Fate of the Furious, only a couple months after, and she's essentially playing a similar-ish character, especially with capability at least. So for me, I was just, she's also obviously way more of a kick-ass character in this because she's able to kick ass more. So for me, it just didn't appeal to me, if that makes sense.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I had the opposite. First of all, I did not see Fate of the Furious. I will Netflix it down the road. Honestly, I'm not big on those films. That's a whole other thing. But I came in, because I love spy movies, and I love Charlize Theron as an actress, and I definitely love European set Cold War thrillers with a cool soundtrack. Like, this appealed to me on every sense.
I'm saying, did you know all that from the poster?
I knew all that from the trailer.
Okay.
The poster, maybe not. I guess the poster could have kind of given that feel, but from the trailer, I saw the trailer before anything else, and I was immediately like, "Oh, I'm in. I will go see this movie, no matter what Rotten Tomatoes says. I will go see this for myself because I think it looks badass." So I was sold, and I came in, and I enjoyed this film. I do have some complaints, mind you. I'll admit, the script probably it got a little muddled here and there throughout the film that I think
it was hard to keep track of who was who.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot going on that didn't need to be going on in this kind of film. They tried to make it a little more complicated, and it was necessary. There's also like kind of these flashback scenes, or I guess more flash forward scenes throughout the film that they probably didn't need. I'll get into that more in spoilers.
It was pretty cliche.
Yeah, like it was some stuff, some of the scene transitions, I'm like, okay, that doesn't need to be there. But
the movie starts off with her giving a deposition of the events that happened throughout the movie. So we keep going back and forth, and she's being interviewed about it the whole time. And you've seen that a million times in movies.
It was too much. Like, they didn't need to keep going. They went back a lot to that, and I think maybe a few times in the beginning, in the middle, and maybe the end, but it was a lot, which I think kind of slowed the story down a little bit. It weighed it down, which was unnecessary. Did you have
trouble keeping track of what name, like having a name attached to a person? Like, Percival was the only name I really understood. It took me a long time to realize Spyglass was a person.
I pretty much got that, but sometimes people would maybe talk really fast that I didn't quite catch the name they were saying to refer to somebody. So that I'll give you. So yes, there were. It wasn't like this movie was perfect. There was some script issues, and even some of the scene transitions between like the interrogation deposition scene back to the action was just kind of a little amateurish, a little kind of cheesy. Those are little editing things that just, I noticed that aren't a big deal, but I'm like, it could have been a little neater the way they did that. But aside from that, the fight choreography was really well done. Like I said, John Wick type of fight scenes, which were really cool. Some of the car chase scenes with they have these long takes of car chases. That was really cool to watch. And the soundtrack. This is probably my favorite soundtrack of the year so far, which is seeing a lot because we've had some killer soundtracks. Baby Driver had a great soundtrack. Spider-Man had a really cool soundtrack. Trying to think of what else. A lot of cool music in movies this year, but this is probably my favorite just because I'm a big fan of 80s music. I love that Bowie and The Cure and all that stuff. So for me, I was all about it. I actually ordered the soundtrack today on a Mondo did a vinyl release. I ordered it this morning because I'm like, I want this vinyl. I don't even have a record player yet, but I'll get one and I'm gonna play this record on there. So yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. There were some cool little film references that I also enjoyed. There's a scene where they're in a movie theater playing this old Russian movie, which is kind of obscure except for like major cinephiles. So it was cool that they had that in there, this famous Russian director. So I like seeing that. It was yeah. She kicks some ass. Charlize Theron, she kicks ass, and it's fun to watch.
So you got to wrap it up with your grade.
My grade, I'll give it a B. I was thinking going between B and B minus, but I'll go solid B.
Solid B.
Solid B.
All right, so yeah, so I'll say this: James McAvoy and Charlize Theron are amazing. She is much more an interesting character than she was in Fate of the Furious. I thought the editing style was incredibly creative and stylistic in this movie. Awesome electronic score. This movie sounded like it was scored by Nine Inch Nails, not just Trent Reznor. It was the entire Nine Inch Nails kind of scored it as far as the music goes, as far as the score goes. And then obviously, like you said, it samples a ton of 80s music to kind of try to get you trapped in that era. The fight scenes were super raw, and she's not invincible. She was getting injured and struggling and fighting to the death with people. And wheezing and trying to catch her breath in between punches. Also, people don't just wait to try to take her on one at a time like they even do in John Wick.
You see people like dancing around, waiting their turn. Here, like there's it felt more real because there's multiple people trying to fight her at the same time.
3 people attacking her at the same time, as opposed to on John Wick, they all have guns and they're running up to him one at a time and waiting for their turn. And that's like it's glaring. There's also an amazing one-take fight scene in this. It's not all one take, but they stitch it together digitally to make it seem like it's all one take. But it goes from a stairwell to the street and the cars, and they stitch it together like Birdman. But it is a long, long one, and it is just exhausting in a good way.
It's
like
cool.
you feel her exhausting because she is tired in this fight. Yeah, it's also interesting to see the Soviet Union collapsing in the background and the Berlin Wall coming down. And there's news clips throughout, and it's just interesting to see. It really captures you in the time really well. It probably even is a little too heavy-handed capturing the time period it's in, but that's fine.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
But she doesn't also have stupid she doesn't have a stupid dialogue or one-liners before and after fighting somebody. Like she goes up, sees a person, goes and fights them. She doesn't say anything. And then as she's done, she walks away. As opposed to so many stupid action movies, she tries to oh yeah, well I knew it was you all along, or some stupid stuff like that. And she just goes and this person's in my way. I'm trying to leave. I'm not going to try to talk to you. I'm just going to kick your ass and leave. But like I said, I did struggle to keep track of the plot and names. There's even things I don't even understand now after watching the whole movie in hindsight. I don't get it. So
it felt like they created some twists and turns just for the sake of having more twists and
especially
turns.
At the very, very end.
Yeah. So I did have some. We'll talk about that later. But yeah.
So anyway, my letter grade. I think this is one of the rare times where you and I are in complete agreement. I gave it a solid B.
Hey. All right.
A positive grade. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this way better than I thought it was going to be. And I'm not rushing to see this again, but I want to watch it again simply just for the fight scenes that were really impressive.
I don't think I need to see it again in the theater, but I'll definitely buy it when it comes out. Yeah. Easily. That's a cool action. It's a cool action movie to throw on that is fun to watch. And I guess I didn't say this enough, how gorgeous this film is to watch. It's just the lighting, all the reds and the neons and blues and purples, and it's gorgeously shot.
It is.
And just adding in the music too,
it'd be a great movie to watch and have a couple people having some drinks and watching it and talking, kind of, not because you can get a lot of the enjoyment without even paying attention to the plot. Although this has a villain that's going to make you really glad when they get theirs at the end. It really does. We'll talk about it in spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell people where they can follow you on the internet, just in case we lose some people, or we switch to spoilers?
If anybody wants to follow me on Twitter, I don't tweet much, but if you want to, I'll try to tweet more. It's Derek Miranda 85. Derek is spelled Derek, Miranda like the rights. 85. Or on Instagram, I like to take pictures, so just Derek Miranda on Instagram.
And for me, you can follow me at Shuckster. That's SCHUCKSTER. I never shout out my Instagram. Maybe if anybody wants to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at DShuckster on Instagram. That is a look into my personal life because I don't do a lot of necessarily movie stuff in there. I just do. This is my regular
Although you do have a Watch and Talk Instagram now.
I do, and that's what I was going to plug right now too. So you can follow us on Twitter at The Watch and Talk. You can check out our new Watch and Talk Instagram, which is at The Watch and Talk, which is basically just posting pictures from movies and saying, check out it's the same thing as our Twitter, really. But I don't know, if you sometimes forget about episodes or whatever, it's worthy of follow. Maybe I'll integrate the story feature for certain things sometimes. I don't know. And then email us thewatchandtalk@gmail.com and go to our website, thewatchandtalk.com, or our Facebook at facebook.com/thewatchandtalk. Next week, we're going to be reviewing Detroit. And I do plan on doing probably a bonus review of The Dark Tower also. And I should be doing a bonus review with John Booker of A Ghost Story here soon, too. So look forward to those. And without further ado, let's switch to spoilers. So when Spyglass dies, I felt like it was watching Manny Pacquiao lose his first fight.
Yeah.
Because she had never lost a package, as she said. And you could just tell that it's like, this is her looking at him and being like, dang. And her also not panicking under the water. Mm-hmm. Shows what a badass she is. But yeah,
when he died, that was hard.
Yeah.
Because you really feel for this guy. You're like, this guy, like, he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to get his family to a better life. And he's scared. You could say he's really scared.
Yeah.
He's taking a big gamble here, and he's terrified. He's terrified for his family, and he gets he shouldn't have been killed. Like it sucks that he died how he did.
So Sofia Boutella, who played the Mummy earlier in this year, obviously is in it, and I thought it was a little ridiculous that after threatening James McAvoy that she then is in her house with headphones on.
Yeah, that might not have been the smartest
That was ridiculous. But anyway, I must say that McAvoy killing her was a great way to get us to really cheer his death at the end, and we did.
Yeah, because you really like Sofia Boutella's character. Like you can tell, like she is like a younger. She's not as seasoned.
Yeah, she's naive.
Like she's trying to. She's this naive girl who's trying to serve her country, and you can tell that she really cares about the cause. And it's a bummer what happens to her because Sofia Boutella in general is very lovable, but her character too is great. And and James McAvoy
obviously Charlize Theron had a thing for her as well. Obviously.
Yes, that was I noticed that.
But and then the line, "I fucking love Berlin," and then she shoots him, was really cool. Was especially the way he delivered that. It was awesome. So then she ended up being Russian. Oh no, she was playing them too. And then she's killing them, obviously alone, which really wasn't necessary. They could have just done the straight to American and find out she's American situation. That was so rushed, her being Russian thing. And when she was Russian, I took a note. I was like, oh, she was drinking vodka the whole movie, and that must have been a hint.
Yeah, the way she's drinking, Stoli.
And then she ended up being an American anyway. And when she kills them at the end, there's bullets hit pillows and feathers fly through the air, and it reminded me of John Woo style, like the doves flying through the air.
Oh yeah, okay. It was at the very end there when it's like she's a triple agent.
Yeah, She's actually a quadruple agent.
No, I thought she was a triple agent. Because if she was an agent for MI6 and then a double agent for the KGB, but then a triple agent for the CIA.
But she was also pretending to be a regular person on the streets. Oh no.
Well, that's just that. Yeah, that doesn't.
Okay, triple agent. Fine.
So my problem, I'm glad she ended up not being a bad guy because she's really likable, and you didn't want her. because you also saw that she cared. It's like she cared about these people in the way that she, James McAvoy is the villain. You don't want her to be the villain because it wouldn't make sense entirely. But it's like, so why was she deceiving like MI6? That's kind of
to try to get the list to her government.
Okay, it's just for me. I'm like the British and American governments are like best friends. Like, why you gotta? I don't know.
I would assume it was probably complicated then.
I guess it's because in case there's any like leaks in MI6. I mean, yeah, like James McAvoy's character, he was MI6. He was a bad guy.
I must say how much I loved John Goodman. I freaking love John Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman was great.
But yeah,
he's
also they showed Kurt Loder in a scene and saying sampling is an art form or just plagiarism. And
that was great. I was like, dude, that's Kurt Loder, like in this action movie.
And I think that was also I don't know. I think that had a lot to do with the fact that she was almost sampling from other countries in her being right. And then the song ended with "Under Pressure."
Okay.
Which was the most famous plagiarism case that I know of.
Yeah.
In history. Between Vanilla Ice and Under Pressure. Because the reason that it started is because when it started, I was like, oh, they're ending this with Ice Ice Baby? Oh, okay, they're trying to make it seem like she's an ice heart, like cold baby. And then all of a sudden it was Under Pressure. And I was like, oh, this is stupid. And I was like, oh, maybe that's the one. Yeah, that's funny that they pointed that out. And then, the song ended up being a big plagiarism case. So yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Okay, that makes me even like the movie even more. Like that's nice.
Yeah. But anyway, I enjoyed it. It would be a movie I'd rewatch with some beers, and it was worthy viewing.
Definitely. But yeah, once again, going back, they kept flashing back to the deposition scenes. It was a little. They didn't need all that. I think it kind of slowed down the story a little bit, and it was like they were I feel like 10 minutes. They're back there in the room. And I'm like, they didn't need all that.
Anyway, why don't we? Anything else you want to add, or ready to wrap it up?
I guess that's about it.
All right. Why don't you tell people again where they can follow you on the internet?
Once again, on Twitter, it's Derek Miranda 85, or if you want to follow me on Instagram, just Derek Miranda.
For me, you can follow me at Shuckster. That's SCHUCKSTER. And then you can follow the show at The Watch and Talk. Go to our website, thewatchandtalk.com, facebook.com/thewatchandtalk, and our Instagram at facebook.com. Or I'm sorry, facebook.com/Instagram. That's our Instagram. No, at The Watch and Talk. So yeah, and that's it. I'm Dylan Chuck.
I'm Derek Miranda.
And we'll see you next week. Alrighty. Time to go watch Game of Thrones.
Yes.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on this week.
Yeah, of course.
We'll have you on again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Have me, let me know.
All right, bye.
Bye.